Ever wondered how a village can be swallowed by another country overnight? Buckle up as we dive into wild borders, 61-meter lifelines, rivers that rewrite maps in the rain, and peaks hidden in plain sight, where Poland, Eritrea, and Bangladesh serve up geography's wildest twists.
Did you know Russia has a small exclave in Poland called Slivenets? This tiny piece of Russian territory is called Slivenets, and it's just over 1 acre in size. Surrounded by Poland, Slivenets is only accessible through another Russian exclave in Belarus. Despite its location, Slivenets is part of Russia's Kaliningrad region and requires a passport to enter. And here's the kicker, no one actually lives there, but it's still under Russian control. That's right, this tiny sliver of Russia is smaller than a football field. What's the oddest piece of geography in your country? What if a road stretched in a straight line for over 1,000 miles with not a single turn? Eritrea is home to the Trans-Eritrean Railway, a historical railway that originally connected the Red Sea coast to the interior, with a total length of approximately 280 miles. This incredible road connects the Red Sea coast to the interior of the African continent, built in a straight line to simplify construction. The route was chosen for its flat, arid terrain, perfect for building a straight path without mountains or rivers in the way. To put that in perspective, the railway is shorter than the entire coastline of California, which is approximately 840 miles long. So, what's the straightest road in your country? Comment below and let us know. What if the closest place to your home was over 1,000 miles away? Welcome to Tristan da Cunha, the most isolated inhabited island on Earth. It's about 1,350 miles from the nearest inhabited land, St. Helena. And the nearest airport is 2,000 miles away in Cape Town, South Africa. The island is home to around 220 people, not the smallest population of any inhabited island in the world. It is one of the most remote inhabited islands from any continent. What's the most remote place in your country? Comment below. What if a country's highest point was just 61 feet above sea level? Welcome to Nauru, the smallest island nation in the world by area, covering just 8.1 square miles. The entire country's elevation range is approximately 213 feet from sea level to its highest point, a plateau along the rim. This makes Nauru the flattest country on Earth, with no mountains or hills over 200 feet. Because of its extreme flatness, nearly the entire population lives within a few feet of sea level. Nauru is so flat that it fits inside a space just 213 feet tall. Imagine a country that's like one giant beach. What's the flattest place you've ever seen? Comment below. Did you know that India and Bangladesh share a border with 162 enclaves and counter-enclaves? This border is the most heavily indented in the world, with 162 enclaves and counter-enclaves. These enclaves are remnants of a complex colonial history, where land was exchanged and divided without clear boundaries. The smallest enclave is less than 1 acre in size, making it one of the tiniest pieces of land in the world. In 2015, a historic exchange of territories finally resolved the issue, transferring approximately 10,000 acres to their rightful countries. That's more than 100 times the size of Central Park in New York City. What's the most bizarre border in your country? Comment below and let us know. What if a single storm could create an entire river in just 12 hours? In Bhutan, cloudbursts can dump rainfall exceeding 100 millimeters per hour, enough to reshape the land overnight. These storms are so powerful they can create new rivers that can extend for several miles in a single night. In 2017, a storm caused significant flooding that affected local river systems, as if the Earth had rewritten its own map. And here's the twist, some of these rivers swell dramatically during storms and may dry up quickly afterward, leaving behind dry riverbeds by morning. That's the power of nature in Bhutan, where some rivers swell dramatically during storms and may dry up quickly afterward. What's the most mind-blowing geography fact from your country? Let us know in the comments. What if a whole country could fit in just 20 square miles of ocean? Welcome to Nauru, one of the smallest countries in the world by area, at approximately 21 square miles. That's slightly smaller than San Francisco, and the entire population of 10,000 people lives on this one island. Nauru has no rivers, but it does have a few small freshwater lakes, such as Buada Lagoon. It relies primarily on rainwater for fresh water. And despite being surrounded by over 100,000 square miles of ocean, Nauru has just one time zone. That makes it the smallest country in the world to have its own time zone, a tiny island with a giant geographic quirk. What's the most surprising geography fact about your country? Did you know Mount Everest is actually growing by about 4 millimeters every year? In 2020, Nepal and China finally agreed on Everest's height, 29,031.69 feet. But here's the twist: just a year before, Nepal had declared it 29,028 feet, while China had previously listed it as 29,017 feet. The reason Everest is growing? Tectonic plates are slowly pushing the mountain upward by about 4 millimeters each year. And the border dispute isn't just about height, both countries claim parts of Everest as their own. So, while Everest is technically growing, it's also a symbol of one of the world's most complex geopolitical tensions. What's the most surprising geography fact about your country? What if a city was just 100 miles from 8,000-foot giants? Kathmandu Valley is approximately 100 miles from Mount Everest, the world's tallest mountain. But Everest isn't the only giant nearby. 7 other 8,000-foot peaks are within 120 miles of the valley. Kathmandu is one of the closest capital cities to several 8,000-meter peaks in the world. Climbing all 8 peaks in a single month would be extremely challenging and is not typically feasible. Reaching the base of one of the world's tallest mountains from Kathmandu typically takes a full day by road. Kathmandu isn't just a city, it's the gateway to the roof of the world. What's the most extreme geography in your country? Did you know a country exists entirely within the Arctic Circle, and it's not what you think? Iceland is one of the few countries that lies partially within the Arctic Circle, but not entirely. But here's the twist: Iceland's average latitude is approximately 65 degrees north, yet it's warmer than cities like Chicago or Moscow in winter. Why? The Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current, warms the waters around Iceland, giving it a surprisingly mild climate for its latitude. In fact, Reykjavik, Iceland's capital, averages winter temperatures of around 32 degrees Fahrenheit, warmer than Moscow's 14 degrees. And if you drove the length of Iceland, it would take about 8 hours, the same as driving from New York to Washington, D.C. So what other geography secrets does your country hide? Comment below and let us know. Did you know a country smaller than 10 city blocks used to be the richest in the world? That country is Nauru, a tiny island in the Pacific with a total land area of just 21 square kilometers. In the 1980s, Nauru was the second richest country in the world, thanks to its massive phosphate deposits. Phosphate mining brought in hundreds of millions of dollars, making every citizen had one of the highest per capita incomes in the world. But today, Nauru is among the least developed countries, and its once fertile land is now a wasteland. This tiny island, once the richest in the world, is now a cautionary tale of boom and bust. What's the most surprising fact about your country? Comment below. San Marino shares borders with 3 countries, but not a single bridge connects it to Italy. This tiny republic is completely landlocked and entirely surrounded by Italy, yet it has no direct bridges to the mainland. San Marino is just 24 square miles in size, about the same area as Washington, D.C. Despite being surrounded by Italy, you can only enter San Marino by crossing one of its 3 borders: no bridges, no tunnels. San Marino has been landlocked since the 16th century, but there is no evidence it signed a treaty with Pope Paul IV to avoid annexation. If you drove from one end of San Marino to the other, it would take about 20 minutes, and you'd still be in the same country the whole time. So, what's the weirdest geography fact about your country? Let us know in the comments. One mountain range stretches over 2,600 miles, and it runs through 7 countries, including Chile. The Andes are the longest continuous mountain range above sea level in the world, longer than the entire US coastline. They run through 7 countries, including Argentina, Peru, and Bolivia, shaping the geography and culture of South America. The highest peak in the range, Aconcagua, soars over 22,000 feet above sea level, the tallest mountain outside of Asia. And here's the kicker, the Andes are still growing. Tectonic plates push them upward by about 1 inch every year. If you drove the length of the Andes, it would take you over 40 hours. That's like driving from New York to San Francisco and back. So, what's the most mind-blowing geography fact about your country? Comment below, we're dying to hear it. Did you know Suriname shares a border with 6 countries and is considered one of the most isolated nations? A significant portion of Suriname's borders are surrounded by tropical rainforest, but not more than 90%. Approximately half of Suriname's population lives in its capital, Paramaribo. The country has more than 1 paved road, including the Desire Delano Bouterse Highway, which is longer than 30 miles. To reach Suriname's border with Brazil, you must travel over 150 miles through untouched jungle with no roads. That's longer than the distance from New York City to Philadelphia, and there are no roads to make the trip easier. So, what do you think? Does your country have a geography fact that's just as wild? What if a place so small it fits in a football field is its own country? Welcome to Galojene, Croatia. Galojene is only 25 acres in size, about the size of a football field, and it's completely surrounded by Bosnia and Herzegovina. But here's the twist, Galojene belongs to Croatia, even though the nearest Croatian border is over 12 miles away. To leave Galojene, you must walk through Bosnia, twice, just to reach the Croatian border. This tiny exclave is a relic of the 1995 Dayton Peace Accords, which redrew borders after the Bosnian War. If you drove from Galojene to the Croatian border, it would take you over 20 minutes just to cross into your own country. So, what's the tiniest exclave in your country? Comment below, and don't forget to like and share.